Мы наконец-то добрались до главной темы и причины, для чего мы вообще здесь занимаемся, зачем мы учимся, что мы хотим понять в этой жизни. И, если вы помните, была такая традиция еще со времен Пушкина, Лыгавдил, что дамы вели журналы, и в этих журналах они описали, в чем смысл жизни, в чем счастье, как достичь радости и self-fulfillment. So we'll do it in English just to make it a better flow. Kohelet. Kohelet is a name that is given to King Shlomo. And he characterizes himself in the very first sentence of Kohelet. Divrei Kohelet ben David, Melech Birushalayim. Kohelet is a name that Shlomo chose for himself because in his work he tried to summarize every wisdom and every advice that the wise man can give to other people. The history of Shlomo is that he became a king when he was barely bar mitzvah. His father died. There was a lot of pretenders for the throne, candidates that was older than him, his brothers. But Hashem chose Shlomo to be the king. And that was the original reason why he was born. And just after he was born, Hashem appeared to Shlomo in a prophecy, as it says in a dream. And over there, he was given a choice. Ask me for something. Hashem is speaking to the prophet Shlomo, and I'm going to give it to you. And Shlomo described his condition, saying, I'm a young man. I'm only 12 or 13. My father is a wise man. David, everyone respected him. He was a man who can relate to everybody. He is a man who was admired, followed, and looked up to. And who I am? Young kid. David was a mighty warrior. He was a king whom all his neighbors feared. He was able to subdue the Plishtim. He was able to conquer Aram and get Syria as a part of the Eretz Israel. He was able to control all the territories around him, and his people happily followed him. And even though he was from the tribe of Yehuda, even the tribe of Benjamin, from whom the first king came, Shaul, even the tribe of Benjamin accepted Shlomo, and he became the king over Israel. And we have a prophecy that says that the descendants of David will be a Mashiach, will be the one who is going to bring a redemption to Jews and bring us all back to Israel. And Shlomo in his dream is saying, I'm a young kid. Give me wisdom, please. Because he realized that wisdom is an essential ingredient for his success. And he realized that being the king of his people, the people of God, the people of Torah, the most valuable possessions that he can ask is wisdom. And that's what he asked. And Hashem told him, you really pleased me with your request. You didn't ask like other people would ask for wealth, for power, for the life of your enemies, for success. I'm going to give you all, not just wisdom. As a perk, you're going to receive everything. And that's what Shlomo was. And he was able to live his life like everyone may dream about. And at the conclusion of his life, he wrote this book, Kohelet, Eklesiast, as it's called in English. And this is a guide for all of us, so we don't make wrong moves. People live their lives, and they all have aspirations. And different people have different aspirations, but most people have experiences that lead them to believe that having a lot of possessions is critical to their success. That's how they view themselves. They view that having a lot of gold, having a lot of power, having a lot of happiness, and having control over all your enemies. Shlomo introduced in this book Amar Divrei Kohelet. And the word Divrei can sometimes be translated. Maybe it's not this piece, something else that may be confusing here. But anyway, he's not speaking from himself. He's not describing his personal perception what happiness is and how to achieve it. He is speaking in the Ruach HaKodesh. He is speaking with divine inspiration, and it's basically one of those books who, it's a prophetic writing. It's not his own personal, even though he's giving his opinions based on this spiritual inspiration, being one of the prophets of Jewish people. And we know there is a couple other books that he wrote. He also wrote book of Proverbs. He wrote a book of Shira Shirim, which is translated as a Song of Songs, and describes the love between Hashem and the Jewish people. But one of the opinions says that this is the last book that he wrote. He says that Shira Shirim he wrote when he was young. Proverbs he wrote when he was in the middle age, and Kohelet is his final work. So basically all he knows is summarized in this book. That's why the word Kohelet comes. Because Kohelet, I think you mentioned yesterday, is the same root as a Kehila. Kehila is when you have a Kehila, let's say Beis Israel or a Jewish Kehila somewhere, is a combination of the people, all people together, joined together. So Kohelet is a compilation of all the wisdom that he was able to compile, and also compilation of all possible experiences the man can live. And again, I think we already mentioned it. Let's say a person would like to be, but you ask, допустим, Yuslav, what would you like to have in life, right? How do you describe happiness? What would you like to have?
How would I describe happiness?
Mm-hmm. Говорят по-русски, чтобы у меня много чего было и ничего за это бы мне не было.
Ну вот, в принципе, так.
So there's a lot of, I want to let a lot of things. So basically, gathering a lot of possessions in a way, or a lot of happy experiences. But Shlomo speaks from the personal situation that most people can never achieve in their life. For example, I would like to be as smart as Dr. Lubeznik, or I would like to be as handsome as Slava, or I'd like to be as successful in business as someone else, right? And I may not be able to have neither one of them. Maybe I have some of it somewhere. So I may always think if I would be like Reb Hirsch or Reb Slava, I'll be a successful man. For that, Shlomo is answering. He is saying the key words of his speech. He is saying, Hevel Havelim Amar Kohelet. Hevel Havelim Hakol Hevel. He is saying, how to translate it in English? Суета, сует, все суета. We'll say in Russian. I'm translating in English. What is Hevel in English? Help me out. I just left my mind.
Vanity or vanity.
Vanity or vanity. Everything is vain. And it's repeated here 7 times. So it teaches us very fundamental lesson that it's not just a different people having different interest in possessions. It's also a different period of life that most people experience. And Kohelet also teaches us that don't try to be mathematical genius. Don't try to be the handsomest guy in the world. Don't try to be the Shah of Iran who can have 25 or whatever 30 wives. Don't try to be most successful businessman, and don't try to be something else if you're looking for happiness. If you're looking for something else, maybe that's what you want to do, but it's not my advice for you to go. If you want to achieve happiness, I'm going to tell you what you need to do, but it's going to be at the end. But at the beginning of it, he says, you need to guide your life by Hashem mitzvahs and by learning his Torah, and that's a perfect path to achieve happiness. And that create a balance that will enable you to evade different difficulties that every person experiences in his life. And that's why he repeats the word Hevel 7 times, because 7 periods of life every person going through. And the first period, the young man, is compared to a king. Everyone loves him. He's a good looking, even if he's not. Everyone wants to kiss him. Everyone change his diapers, even if he doesn't smell too well. Everyone give him a kiss. And he's basically basking in love and admiration. Then he grows older. And in his curiosity, he go in different places. He might go and check what's happening inside the toilet, or he can wallow in the mud, or he play with worms, some other unclean things. And he's enjoying every moment of it. But people from the side looking at him, oh, this little piglet. And when he grows up, he becoming a teenager, maybe a little younger, right until he grows and become an older person, he acts like a little goat. Like a goat, he jumps around, he can break things, he likes to play. The focus of his life is playing, and he enjoy to do what he is doing. When he's getting older, and then he's entering the new stage, his fourth stage of life, where he's compared to the young horse, stallion. He's looking to get married. He's looking for girls, and he's looking for enjoying himself. He's grooming himself. He's buying himself expensive shoes, good-looking suit and shirt, nice, designer tile, buckle belts. He's finding new way of enjoying himself in life until he gets married, and he's transferring from the being a strong young stallion into the next stage, which is compared in the wisdom of our Talmud to a stage of a donkey. And what donkey does? Donkey is spending his life toiling and providing for his family. He needs to make sure that his kids are taken care of, they have what to eat. He's taking care of his wife. He's buying himself a house. He's trying to buy it. He's getting whatever cars, possession. He's providing material fundament for his family. He's busy. And every stage of life that people live, they're so involved in what they do that they cannot really raise their head above the waters and look to themselves from the side and see, am I really happy? Is my original inspiration and original goal of being happy fulfilled, or I'm just swayed away by something temporary and that something elusive? Kohelet tells us, Hevel Havelim Hakol Hevel, it's all elusive. Because next stage, when he's growing older, he's assuming a role of a dog. He's compared to the dog because he's trying to protect his investments. He's want to make sure that his kids are getting married. He's want to make sure that they start their life well. He's trying to get them set up, and he is protecting what he already earned. He might bite another dog or another animal who is trying to take something that he thinks is his, and he's not really happy there neither, until he finally reached the last stage of his life when he's compared to a monkey. He's not good looking, and he's not as how to say healthy and strong as a stallion, as a goat. He doesn't have a time to play or even interest to play like a little goat. And life goes by. So Shlomo tells us that the only way to keep ourselves from not becoming a donkey, from not becoming a goat, for not becoming a horse, is to remember that we are holy people. We are Jewish people who are given Torah, and we are given mitzvahs, and we are given totally different perspective on life. And that's what Shlomo Kohelet was. Even when he was a little boy and he was in a stage of the goat, he was not still behaving and acting like a goat. He was still a man. He was a king. When he was a horse, in a horse stage, he was still a king. He was not grabbing other people horses or other family wives. He was focusing on fulfilling commandments of the Torah. When he was in a stage of the donkey, he still acted like a king. He was controlling and what he was doing, and he's describing how he tried every possible pursuit in life. And as a king, he was able to be everyone eh, that everyone inspired to be. He was able to be a mathematician. He was able to be a businessman. He was able to plan orchards. He was having a lot of slaves and servants. He experienced all possible wants that the average man can think about. And at the end of it, he says, Hevel Hevelim. There's I think 7 different chapters in this book. Actually more, 9 or 12. 1 second. And in each chapter, the word Havel is appearing again and again, saying, don't try this. I tried it already. If you're looking for happiness, there's a different recipe. At the very end, he tells what it is. סוף דבר הכל נשמע, אס האלוקים, וירא אס המצוותיו, שמור כי זה כל האדם. At the end of the matter, all having been heard, fear Hashem, God, and keep his commandments, and that is the entire man. So we want to be happy. Even though we can be, inspired, or we want to be a horse, a donkey, a dog, or some other stages in life can take and emotionally, appealing to us. We have to realize that at the end of the game, every person coming back to where he is taken. He is going back to return his soul to Hashem. And that's why it's very important to compose yourself and not to lose your godly appearance and the original godly image, Tselem Elokim, that was given to every man when they were born. No, maybe you have some questions or some suggestions.
У меня нету.